Let's finish up this little bear here. Okay, now I went outside and I drilled a hole. It was probably a 1/4 inch hole through this arm right here, the arm that will be holding the fishing pole. And I went and made a little fishing pole. Now this is so simple, folks. I don't even really have to show you all that much. All this is just a 1/4 inch dowel, and as you can see, it goes right through the and I decided to go ahead and put a little reel on it. In other words, just to, and there's a, but it goes right through the let me see how long that dowel is. I think it's 1/4 inch is what it is. And this little dowel, you can make it shorter, you can make it longer. I tried to make it, this is going to be about 6.5 inches long on this. Now, I remember I told you this is a Mike Shipley bear. So, and all I did was I took a little dowel, the 1/4 inch, and I just took it and whittled off the end to kind of a point, just a little bit of a point at the end. The rest I just left the dowel the way it is, in other words. And then I had a little bit bigger dowel, and I cut to make for my reel. I just cut one, and I took a sander and just put a little indention in it and glued it to the dowel, and I extended this here. All this is going to be covered with a little fine wire that's going to act as the string, in other words. So it's a very simple thing. I set the about an inch and a quarter is where I set the reel for it. And like I said, all I did was just sand a little bit in here and make a little indention in here so that it would glue on to it where it would be able to sit right. And I just did the same thing around here. So that'll all be covered anyway when I put the wire around it and go down the length of the, and we'll cover that as we do it. Now, and as you can see, all it does is just fit just like this, okay? And the wire will be coming out. And I went over and I a little 1/8 inch hole in this hand. I just went up there and drilled a little 1/8 inch hole in there so that I can put the wire through the bottom of it and come out the top. And then I'm gonna have a little fish that we're gonna carve right now. This is out of like 3/8 inch wood. I cut it 3/8, and that little fish is gonna be right here, in other words. So, very simple, very simple little movement here that we have. Extremely simple to get done. Let me get my knife and we'll carve the little fish real quick. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be extraordinary or anything like that. Just a simple little fish. No, what happened to that? There it is. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm seeing things that are in my box that are kind of messed up or whatever it is. Okay. All I did, it's very simple. I drew a little fish on here. And as you can see, it's a very simple little fish. And we're just going to take our... We're just gonna we're just gonna do our little fish here. And let me take this off of here. And take this little off of here. Got a little rough in the wood. You know, when you get wood, folks, you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of a funny. That's carving good now. And we're just going to kind of make a little cut in here and there and here and there. Doesn't have to be anything perfect. It's just going to be a little, like I said, a little fish. Doesn't. A lot of people, like I said, we're not looking for accuracy. We're looking for cuteness, as we might say. When you do a caricature, we're not looking for extreme realism, folks. We're looking for just something that is just really cute to the eye and unique and things like that. And people sometimes they get into the worrying too much about the realism of caricature carving, and we don't have. It's just like the bear right here. I mean, look at him. He's, you know, he looks silly. Yeah, he's a little fisherman and stuff. But that's what draws people to caricatures. I remember. As I've told you, when I got into a form of flat plane carving that I do, in other words, I was, told it didn't look right, it was not finished enough, it was this, it was that, and I didn't let that worry me, I didn't let that get me down or anything like that, and a lot of people really, and I think a lot of that boils down to the fact that a lot of people are perfectionists in their lives. And they can't do that kind of work because a lot of people have trouble doing caricatures because they are perfectionists. Or when they do a caricature, they have trouble dealing with that type of thing. So a lot of that is the fact that people become perfectionists and they have trouble getting things done the way that they want to have them done. And like I said, a lot of people they get really bent out over things, and it isn't necessary to go whole hog with things and worry about them and get bent out of shape over them, and just enjoy yourself and enjoy what you're doing. And like I said, enjoy yourself. Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy what you're creating. And like I said, you can do a more realistic type fish, but it's just not necessary. Okay, let's bring this all down, especially in this area. Let's bring this down here, especially where the tail is, because it's going to be now this is real close to your hand, so you want to be real careful that you don't get too crazy. Yeah, when you get down close, it's going to be small. It's going to be close to your hands. So you want to be careful. Let's bring this down a little bit more. And a little bit more right here. And that should just about bring us to the, you know, what we have got here. Probably best to go ahead and get you a thumb guard when you get into something this small, because it is best to you know, because it's the blade probably going to be touching your finger a little bit. If you know how much the you know, see what we got here. Okay, now where's my pencil? Do 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 do. Okay, let's go on the bottom here. We're just gonna, and we're going to draw a little gill, as we say, right here. We cut down, we cut on the outside a little bit, and we cut down, and we cut on the outside a little bit. In other words, this is going to just kind of act as his gills. Like I said, it is and then we kind of come up here. And this actually comes around and goes around here, just like this. Around here like this. And then you got a kind of a thing in the middle. Okay. 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 Now most of this is painting. It isn't so much no, you need the gills. Just let that ride. Just make it in the shape of a fish. And let's flatten this. Let's go ahead and flatten this out a little bit. Let's make that a little bit thinner. We don't need that even on a small fish like this. We just need to make it like this. If we need anything, we can paint it on there. See, just like this. Now what you want to do, see, it's just sort of shaped like a fish. And if we want to paint anything on it or whatever, because it's so small, it's not necessary to get a lot of detail in it. I've done some fish, you know, and I've done quite a few of them. Okay. And his eyes would be one would be over here, and one would be over here. But we can paint those details in. But as you can see, the wire will come up through here, come up down here, and be attached to him right here. In other words, okay. Be attached to him right there. And so there you've got your little piece, in other words. And you can, what's good is to just kind of paint this fish, kind of paint him since he's so small, paint the details in on him. And some of you people are a lot better painter than I am, in other words. But you can paint your details in on the fish. And now if you want to add just a little bit of stuff, you can take your V-tool. If I can find it, there it is. No, that ain't it. My small gouge looks a lot like my V-tool. That's why I reach for it a lot. And here it is right here. Okay. And you can take your V-tool and just put a few little fins in there. Go. There you go. Just put you some little fins in there. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, and then you can just sand that smooth, in other words, and then you can, you know, paint the details in there, and you've got it. See, you don't need a lot of detail on this little fish. And then you take the wire, you poke a little hole right here, and you take the wire and glue that in there, and he'll be handling the fish like that. So that is our little situation here. And what we're going to do, we're going to finish him up, and I'll get the wire and stuff, and I'm going to paint him, and we'll see what he looks like when he's done. Okay, well that's our little you don't have to be extremely detailed. Now, if you want to, you can. It doesn't matter all that much. Doesn't matter, is what I'm trying to say. But if you want to, you can. but it isn't necessary with things, just as long as they look cute and satisfactory to the people. And most of the time, I have found many times that doing caricature work, the more caricature it is, the more people love it. And I'm not saying that a lot of people like realistic stuff, but if you're going to do caricature work, do caricature. Make everything look kind of caricature. And I believe that with the fishing rod, with let things look simple. The fish, everything like that. You want to make character out of it, then do character. But make your whole piece have a caricature look. Don't try to do a realistic fish on a caricature figure. In other words, just make it caricature just as well. And there's a wonderful carver named Bruce Ankry, and he carves these gnomes and stuff. And he's a beautiful carver. Well, recently he had some pigs and some sheep, and I wish you'd seen those pigs and sheep. They were of such caricature. I mean, they were just absolutely wonderful, wonderful. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're going to do a caricature or a caricature scene, do the whole thing in character. Don't do a caricature cowboy with this most realistic person on it. I often think of the movie many years ago. Many of you younger people don't remember, called Cat Ballou, where Lee Marvin played a drunkard in the story. And the funny thing about Lee Marvin, more than anything in the world, and there's a particular scene where Lee Marvin is up against the side of they position him up against the side of a building, and he's drunk, and so as a drunk, he was a caricature-like person. In other words, that type of drunk, he played in it. And it was a comedy, and the horse would look like he was drunk also. So basically what they did is they mixed, a caricature of himself with a caricature, and they made the horse as caricature also as possible. So what I'm trying to say is if you're going to do a caricature scene, stay with everything being caricature, because that's what makes it so wonderful to look at. Make it simple and unique in that way, and don't do something realistic